Let's get into some shite. Hi there, welcome to Apocalyptic. That was probably the most southern opening I've ever done. Hi there. I don't know what came out of me. Welcome to Apocalyptic. My name is Rick. I'm going to be sitting in and talking to you for just a little while. You can handle that, can't you? It won't take me that long. I promise it won't hurt. How you doing? How you feeling? That's nice. Wow. I went out today in Atlanta, Georgia. It feels, I don't know, this has got to be the beginning of spring. Now, I know there's a big winter storm a-brewing. It's going to be hitting, but mostly in the north. And I'm sure, I know we're going to get some cold, a lot more cold. We'll probably, I don't know, we could get a snow. Could happen. But I just went out today and it's that feeling. It's just like, all right, that's it. This is it. This is spring. Winter's gone. I would say middle to end of February. That's about right for Atlanta, Georgia. Not looking forward to the heat, but whatever. I live here. Not gonna fuss. Not gonna fight. So I'm not gonna complain. I really not. But I talked a little bit about my eye issues a few episodes ago, and I found something out about this that I want to share with you because people might have the same issues. They might have the same problems. So just an overview, and I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but, one day I woke up, I think my eye blew up. Seriously, my left eye, I think at some point, somehow, it just blew up. And all of a sudden, I have a lot more floaters and a lot of junk in my eye. And I did have some flashing lights. Flashing lights completely gone. Now, everybody tells me that the floaters will eventually go almost like disappear. Doctor said it. People have told me who they've had the same situation. They say after a little while, it kind of goes away. And I hope so. Now, I've had floaters in my eyes since I was a child, since I was a kid. Those haven't gone away. But maybe these will. I don't know. But I did read a study in Taiwan that said they found out there was a 70% increased chance? No, 70% improvement, let's say, of floaters in people when they ate pineapple. Does that sound weird? We're so suspicious here in the United States, and I guess in the West anyway, because we got to sell drugs. We want drugs to be sold. And so I don't think pineapple is going to catch on here with the medical establishment. The pharmacy is not going to be issuing Del Monte anytime soon. But I know that alternative medicine and natural medicines kind of are a little more popular in China and Japan and Taiwan, whatever companies where they don't have a big pharmacy presence, I suppose. I don't know. I'm not that paranoid. I appreciate big pharmacy sometimes. They give us the drugs that heal us. But sometimes I feel like maybe there's more solutions that shouldn't involve narcotics or drugs or whatever. And I'm fine with that. I like natural healings, natural medicine, natural alternative medicine, shall we say. And I'm really interested in the pineapple thing. So 70%, that's pretty impressive. Really. But according to the article I read, it's like, and then, professionals are saying it's going to take a lot more studies. Of course it is. But anyway, I'm going to try it. I'm trying it out. So I'm telling you that I'm going to try it, and I'll let you know if there's a 70% chance or a 70% improvement in my experience. I'll tell you, and then you could try it too. Okay? I think we all got to stick together with this because we're not going to get any help from Pfizer. even though they made my COVID medicine. Thank you, Pfizer. All right, so a couple other things I read. By the way, let's get this out of the way. I do have a listener line, 678-348-0008. It is for the listeners of this podcast, and that means you, because you're listening right now, whether you like it or you're doing it. Someone may have you kidnapped in a basement and tied up and forcing you to listen to Apocalyptic. I've heard there are some crazy people that do that, kidnap people just to make them listen to the podcast. First of all, I want to say thank you to those crazy people. And I want to say thank you to you, even though you're tied up right now and probably under some drugs that make you do things that you don't want to do. It's still a listener on my downloads. So thank you for that. But anyway, if you want to call in on your own free will and leave a message, just tell me, I don't care what you talk about. You can, and you can be a part of the show. And I will put you on. You can text it too. You can also send me an email, rick@apocalyptic.com. A lot of people do that, or just hang out on Facebook. So that's out of the way now. People know how to get in touch with us. I have a website too, apocalyptic.com. You could get all of the episodes. You could download them there. We do have a blog and all that kind of fun stuff. Isn't it great? I just share that information with you in case you want to hang out more than just this one show, in case you want to be friends, in case something on this show makes you think, wow, this is special. This is really special. All right, so we're going to get into a conversation that might make you feel that way. It could. What I was reading today is that more monogamous relationships are becoming non-monogamous. So, what did they call it? I feel like it was like ethical non-monogamy was what they call it. I don't even know what that means, but it just sounds like a weird label. Anyway, relationships that have been going on for a little while, and they've been very monogamous. They haven't been open. Now they're opening their doors. And there's a lot of reasons why it's happening. Boredom. People just aren't getting what they need out of the sex. Or experimentation. I don't know. There's a lot of different reasons. You might be one of the couples. You might be one of the, I don't know, more than a couple, but you could be involved in this. I don't know. I'm not judging. This is a non-judgmental show. I'm very fascinated by it. I'm a pretty monogamous person. I can't even think of a time ever in my life when I was in a relationship when I was fooling around. At least, certainly not sexually, but I can't think of any situation like that. So I'm pretty monogamous, I would say. And my current relationship, of course, very monogamous. I can't really imagine it opening up. So yeah, I'm fascinated by it. I'm not the target group, I don't think. I'm not the target relationship. I think when you like my wife's 10 years younger than me. She's just turned 50 and I just turned 60s. And I don't think, when you're that old, sex isn't like the top priority in the relationship anymore. You've built other things. It's important. It's fun still. But it's just not, I think when you're in your 20s, that's way up there. You want to do it every day with as many people as possible, possibly some farm animals. No, don't. Unless it's consensual, but don't talk about it and don't tell me about it and don't talk on the listener line about it. There's no such thing as consensual farm animals, I don't think. Unless they've grown them. I don't know what they're doing with genetics now. So don't ask me. But still, let's just keep this with human beings, okay? It's hard enough with the human beings. But I love my relationship and all of its dynamics, all of the pieces of the relationship, everything from just watching movies to doing the sex thing. I think that's what we call it. And then just walking the dogs. We also, by the way, call sex walking the dog. Anything like that. I like all of that stuff. And I don't think there's anything more important than anything else. Except maybe sleeping. That's pretty high up now for both of us. When we sleep together, we really, really sleep together. But the young kids are opening it up. They need some experimentation. And I understand it. I do. But I don't know how it works. I don't understand how it works. There's enough problems in relationships. I just feel like when you open it up sexually, you start inviting in jealousy. There's trust issues that suddenly you have to deal with. Physical problems like sexual disease. What do you call them? It's been so long since I've had to deal with it, I can't even think about it. You know what I'm talking about. You're going to get the herpes. You're going to get the gonorrhea, the syphilis, all of the iphuses and stuffuses. I sounded like Bill Cosby for a second. So, and the pudding popses. It's stuff. Why do you want to deal with that? I don't know. I mean, if everybody's had AIDS, STDs, that I knew there were abbreviations that just wouldn't come out of my head. But if everybody's had AIDS tests and everybody's had the STD tests and everybody's healthy, you know this for a fact. And then everybody's emotionally, what utopia, where does this exist? Are there really these people that are that mature? And if they are, you would think, I guess, I don't know, that's a judgment. Wouldn't you think they'd be happy with each other? No, that's a judgment. I can't make that judgment. They may like having an audience and a larger cast of characters in their bedroom, and that's totally cool if you're into it. I couldn't juggle it. I barely can handle one person. I don't know what I would do if my wife came home and was like, look, I want to open it up. I want to open the door. Yeah, that would not be a good day for me. But I don't know. I mean, it's they say it's like it's becoming more and more popular. And I feel like if you could do that and be healthy about it, okay. I think that it could be great. It could be awesome. I don't know. I want proof that it can happen. I want proof. I'm a doubter. I need proof that it can happen. So there's an AI, artificial intelligence thing called Chat GPT, I think. Is that right? I think that's what it's called. Chat GPT. Have you used it? You could go and you can chat with this thing. It's just AI. It's on the web, and you can ask it any question, almost any question, have it to write a poem for you, and it'll do it. Just anything. I don't know. And I've read where writers are saying that it's really great to start, like for prompts, writing prompts, and they use it to kind of like build a structure for something that they're writing, just to kind of give like a framework or just some bones in there, and then they can kind of build on it. They put the meat on the bones. So that sounded interesting to me. At first I was like, I don't know. And then I went and I played around with it. I was like, oh, and it's novel. It's funny. It's just, whatever. I don't know. I'll use it forever. But the last exhibit we had in the gallery, I had it to write the little blurb, and it was kind of cool. I had to make a lot of changes and I had to put the meat on the bones, and but it was interesting. And so I thought, all right, I'll do the same thing this time. And this time it wasn't as useful. So I don't know that humans are going to be out of business for a while, but I did ask it something, and I want to talk about it on the show. It's kind of what we were talking about, sort of about monogamy. as one thing. I asked what were the most common difficulties in human relationships. And this is what's interesting. This comes straight from AI. This is a robot, doesn't know anything about anything. And this is the robot's opinion. Human relationships can be incredibly rewarding, but they can also be very challenging. Thank you, robot. Here are some of the most difficult aspects of human relationships. Now, I want to kind of talk about each one of these as we get into it. There are 7 of them. Now, in full disclosure, maybe you know this. Maybe you've listened to my podcast long enough to know this. I've been in 4 marriages. I never expected in my life to be in 4 marriages, but that's what life gave me. A few of those involved people who should not have been in relationships, including myself. The first relationship I was in lasted quite a while, but I was very young. I was very immature, as we both were. We kind of grew up and learned how to be in a relationship. And it felt I just kind of lost my direction. It's like, this is not what I want to do anymore. And then a couple of relationships that involved a lot of personal issues that were not cool, but whatever. You get out of it and you make your way through life. And then this one, the one I'm in now, which is awesome. It worked out. It took a long time. But I'm just wondering, I don't even know what the statistics on divorce now would be, but I feel like it's just kind of human now to change relationships 1 or 2 times in your life, even marriages. I really respect people who can keep a marriage going through their entire life, but I wonder about those people. We all change, right? So I don't know. How do you do it? How do you make it last? My parents did it, and they probably shouldn't have. But I also know some people who do it well. All right. AI says this. These are the most difficult aspects of human relationships. Communication, and this one is true. So just from my own standpoint, let's see what he says. She says. It says. AI says. Effective communication is essential for any relationship, but it can be difficult to achieve. Misunderstandings, differing communication styles, and conflicting priorities can all make it hard to communicate effectively. And that's very, very true. I think the different communication styles I would like to highlight with a pen there, a little yellow pen. It's really good to get involved with someone who you have a very similar type of communication style with. I think it makes things much easier. And I think, too, that's another thing that age really works in your favor. I think as you get older, you learn to communicate better. You learn what works better in communication. Maybe be a little more tolerant. So for me, I think communication has gotten better. I want to say it's gotten better with each relationship, even though each relationship hadn't gotten better. I'm not going to go into all the details on that. But when I just look at how communication happened, I could see patterns of improvement, at least to myself, sure. All right. Second, trust. Trust is a fundamental aspect of any relationship, but it can be difficult to build and maintain. Betrayals of trust, such as lying or cheating, can be especially damaging to a relationship. Very true. You never know what the other person is doing. That's one of those things that you just think trust is going so well, and then boom, you find out someone hasn't been doing what they're supposed to do. They haven't been trustworthy. That'll kill a relationship. And I've been in a few of those. I've been in some relationships where trust failed. And some of them I didn't find out until after I got out of the relationship that betrayal of trust was happening. But you get somebody that you trust, you're lucky, man. Find it. Find that person. All right, number 3, boundaries. Establishing and respecting boundaries is essential in any relationship, but it can be difficult to navigate. People may have different expectations and needs, and enforcing boundaries can be uncomfortable or even confrontational. And that's true. I don't know that I have a lot of boundaries in my marriage relationship. I have some boundaries in my friendship, daily life relationships. Some of those have caused problems recently. Marriage relationships, I don't know. I don't know what's really off limits for me. I can't even think of what my boundaries are in my marriage. I'm sure we have them. Just they may be more subtle. Yeah, that one I got to think about. But it's true. I think people need to set boundaries. That's very healthy, especially if you have areas where you can be triggered or that you're very sensitive about something. It's like that is very important to, if the relationship is going to survive, to address that and set those boundaries before it's too late. All right, number 4, differences in values or beliefs. People may have different values or beliefs, which can lead to conflicts in relationships. These conflicts can be especially difficult when they involve deeply held beliefs, such as political or religious convictions. And I know this I know it from personal experience, but I know it from just knowing some people that it happened. You know, friends who have gone through political change. My first wife, I went through a spiritual / religious change. So it's a very different person from the person she married when it came to that. And that was something very important to her. And I think it caused some issues. And then the opposite kind of happened in my current relationship. When my wife and I got together, we were both atheists, I would say, and pretty much kind of in the same field, the same atheistic field. And then I had a change, what I would say would be more of a spiritual change. Not maybe what you think, but it was different. So I don't know that now I would call myself, I don't have a label for me. I wouldn't call myself an atheist. I'm just what I am. But it's different. It's different from what we got into. It doesn't really put any pressure on our relationship. I think we've had a few talks about it, but it's nothing that really is a problem. We have the same values. We have the same, I think, essential beliefs. So we're pretty cool in that. But I can see where that could be a big, big issue. All right, number 5, emotional baggage. People bring their past experiences and traumas into their relationship, which can complicate things. Unresolved emotional issues can create conflict that undermine intimacy, and I can tell you for a fact that's probably happened to me through most of my relationships. They're probably killed. If all of them that died, that was probably the big thing. Emotional baggage. Be careful with that one. Get into a relationship. Make sure everybody has some. Just make sure that it's not, make sure they don't have a lot of, like 6 carry-ons with them, and then a whole bunch over in the luggage compartment. We all have a little bit. If you got a lot, it's okay. Just don't get into a relationship right now. Take care of that baggage a little bit. Get rid of some of it. Drop some of it off at the Goodwill or something. Maybe some therapy will help before you get into a relationship, and especially one that you want to last. That's important. All right, number 6, power dynamics. Power dynamics can be present in any relationship, and they can create imbalances that are difficult to navigate. This can include issues related to money, social status, and gender. I don't know. I kind of think that my current relationship, I have that a little bit. We're both, we got married late in life. So we both kind of established ourselves and what we're going to do, who we are. We know what we want as far as how much control in a relationship. So that little power dynamic thing kind of happens. And, she wants to do money the way she wants to do it. I want to do it the way I want to do it. There can be a little bit of an issue. We don't have kids, but that could be a problem. So, yeah. 7, change. People change over time. This can be difficult to accept in a relationship as people grow and develop. Their interests, priorities, and values may shift, which can create tension or even lead to the end of the relationship. That has killed them all. That's it. That's the one. Change. We all change. It's really difficult to change and keep your relationship from changing, or let your relationship change for the better. You just navigate. If you can navigate that change and you can navigate the change at the same time, there's a good chance that you'll survive. If you're both changing and the relationship is changing and you're dealing with those changes in your own compartment, I should say, your own little, you're like separate and you're doing the changes, then you might not be changing together. There may be a problem when the relationship changes. The two people haven't discussed it. But change is inevitable. You have to change. We're human beings and we change. So that's a good thing. And it also makes the relationship exciting. It's what brings you to that point where you say, I no longer want to be monogamous. But if someone else doesn't agree with that, then that change could be a problem. So change is going to change your relationship. It's the one, I guess, puts the most pressure on a relationship. So try to change together if you can. That's what AI is saying. Well, finally, AI closes it off by saying navigating these challenges requires patience, empathy, and communication. Seeking help from a therapist or counselor can also be beneficial for resolving relationship issues. And I agree. I'm the kind of person who I believe you should just see a therapist every 3 to 5 years, whether you feel like you need it or not. Your relationship could be great, but going to a therapist is nice. It's helpful. And a lot of times people harbor animosity and don't talk about it, and it's a good time to get that out. There's some frustrations. I know. There's frustrations in my relationship right now. I know. I'm totally aware. We don't talk about it. We should. But if you're not careful, it'll all just blow up one day. That's not cool at all. All right. Take care of your relationships, people. And really, all relationships, not just, you may not be in a romantic relationship. That's totally fine. But you have relationships with people, right? Everybody. Your work people. Some of this applies to your work people. It does, and it's harder because there are people you work with you would never, ever be in a relationship with, romantic relationship or a long-term relationship. You just wouldn't. You wouldn't even want to be in the same room with them if you didn't have to be. So it's much more of a challenge. Take those points and analyze them and go, wow, this totally doesn't work in this relationship at all. But you got to make it work because you work with them every day. There are people that you just really would rather not be in the same space with, but you have to. All right. Take care of yourself. That's what makes life fun. It does. And you know what? It's okay if a relationship fails. I used to think it wasn't. It was a failure to me. And you do feel that way for a little while. But it's just a sign that you're growing, you're moving, you're changing. And sometimes you're just not going to be able to salvage the double people. I guess that's when you bring the 3 and 4 in. I don't know. But when you're young, you don't realize that. I think I don't want to go through the failure of another, do we want to say failure? The breaking down, the changing of another relationship. I don't want to go through that again. And I'm okay. At least so far, it doesn't seem like that's going to happen. But it does. If it does, it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Realize that something changed. And to make your life better, you got to move on. Because I can tell you for sure, you might go through 3 relationships and think you're just horrible at it, and then get into your 4th or 5th or 6th or 7th and realize, whoa, this is it. How did I not get into this one, the first one? But it's just maturity. It's growing up. And it's okay. It is okay. All right. I'm letting you go. Go work on your relationship. I'm going to have some more coffee. Sure.